If I wish for a different past life, that means that I am stealing experiences and lives away from my children that experienced them or my wife that experienced them. I am saying that the life that we had together isn't as important to me as it is to you. I'm saying that I want to replace those moments with something that didn't happen. So that's the importance, and that is the gravity and the selfishness of that thought. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Rising Father podcast. I'm Chris Rodack. I was in the middle of doing something, and this thought came to my head. And I said, I got to record a podcast right now because I have to get these thoughts out there. I haven't fleshed it out. I haven't taken notes. I haven't written down a structure for anything. I just need to talk through it and have a record of what I'm saying because it was important to me. And I said, hey, let's just make this a podcast. This is a situation that might come up to you. And it came up to me today. It has to do with envy, comparison, wishing for a better life, and regret. So I'll give you the situation. I'll talk through my thoughts on it and what I kind of came up with as I journal a little bit. I use this Remarkable tablet, which they're not sponsoring me, but you should. It's a wonderful journal thing. Really transformed my journaling. This is the Remarkable tablet. So here's what happened. I'm scrolling Instagram. I am posting something, and then I see another men's coach who's about the same age as me, more successful. He's been at it longer than me, but his kids are like 1 and 2. And I got a ping of envy, not from his money, not from the house he was living in, his property. The envy I had was, man, I wish I was doing what I was doing right now back when my kids were 2, like when Nathan was 2 and Lauren was just born. And, I could have provided for them like I am now back then, or like I will be able to 2 years from now when things are even bigger and growing and better, and been working on my business and exponentially growing as opposed to working as a teacher as I was before and building a business in my free hours and on lunch breaks and prep periods like I was doing for years. But now that I'm able to do it full time, I have no limits. So the thought came to my head, man, I wish that, I did this earlier and I was able to give my kids a better life back then. So that was the thought. I think that's an incorrect thought. I think that's a silly thought. And here's why. Because if I asked my son, would you trade the memories we have together for a different life at a bigger house with a bigger yard, with a nicer car, fancier vacations? He would say no. The things he values and he asks more of are not those things. He asks for time with me. He wants me to sit on a couch with him. He wants to go to the park. My daughter, what does she want to do with me? She doesn't ask to go shopping. She doesn't ask to do these things. She wants to play on a rope swing that we have in my backyard. That is the only thing she wants to do ever. Or she wants to play with the little Cabbage Patch dolls or Barbie dolls in her room. I could be making minimum wage and do those things. The rope swing has been instrumental to her life. I put that up when she was maybe 3 or 4 years old, very dangerously, went up on this high ladder, leaned it on a steep hill against this high tree branch. And I remember putting it up thinking, this is going to bring a lot of memories to our family. It's a very simple thing, but it's adventurous, it's fun, it's risky, it's scary, and they're just going to love it. They can swing out 20 feet into the air and have a great time. They've been using it for a majority of their life. They've been using this rope swing. So I thank God that I did that and took the risk and went up on the ladder. That same summer, I also put up a ninja course, like a pulley rope balance beam type of ninja course. I put that up in our yard as well for the exact same reason. I said, I want to put up things in our property that our kids can grow with and use and make memories from. Same thing. But Lauren loves the rope swing more than anything. And if whenever she's an adult, and I look back in this time and I say, hey, Lauren, would you give up those memories of the rope swing to live in a mansion, to drive a nicer car, whatever the situation may be that we could do if we had better finances back when she was little? She would say no. That's what she wants to do. Just like with my son, what they want is time. They want connection. When I think about my own childhood, there was 11 of us in a two-bedroom, one-bathroom house. As I sit here 36 years old, turning 37 in 4 months, I do not wish that we had a bigger house. I do not wish that my parents were more well off. My best memories are in our living room, Christmas morning, everyone smashed together around the Christmas tree, eating dinner, like my mom making an amazing dinner, all of us laughing, having a great time, eating meals together. Those are my best memories. I don't remember a lot of the vacations. I don't remember the, the few times we went out to have a really nice meal out to somewhere, some Italian restaurant. Because for us to have a nice meal, man, it was expensive. I think about how expensive, if I want to take my family to have a decent meal, maybe the price per plate is average price per plate for a regular meal is around me in Pittsburgh is probably $20. Okay. A nicer restaurant is probably like 50 to 75. Really nice in my world is probably like 100. You might be listening to that thinking, you're either listening to that thinking that's super expensive or that's super cheap. Just depends on who you are. Either way, um, that's the world I live in. So my kids are used to that kind of um, world. And whenever I was little, whenever we would go out to eat a lot, it was McDonald's. If we would go out to eat, it was McDonald's. And sometimes we even had to pay for ourselves. But whenever we would go out to a fancy restaurant, to me, Olive Garden was the fancy restaurant. If we went out to Olive Garden, I was doing what the rich kids got to do. If you were my friend growing up and you had your own bedroom, I thought you were a rich kid because it was me and four other boys fighting over one bathroom, and there would be someone in the bathroom, and we'd always be smashing the doors and pounding and punching and kicking and screaming. I remember my poor dad was in there just trying to have one moment of peace, and there would be a line of five, six people outside of the door just screaming at him to get out of the bathroom and to speed up. Poor guy. I think about that now. It's crazy. But my best memories of a kid were moments that happened with my family, were relationships. I remember a specific moment. My dad came upstairs as I was really little and brought me like a peanut butter bagel that was toasted. Or I don't know why he did. He just decided to do it. I'll always remember that because their time was spread out amongst a lot of people. So when I got that one-on-one individual attention, it meant a lot to me. I remember that moment. I remember, like I said, Christmas morning. I remember whenever me and my brothers and sisters all went to my grandparents' house and had a sleepover. Those are the kind of things I remember. I remember running in our woods and riding up and down the neighborhood on our bicycles with my brothers. And I remember jogging every day, training for a race that I won. I remember practicing basketball. I remember riding my bike to see my friend's house. Those are my memories. Those are the things I value. I don't remember shoes I bought. I don't remember expensive toys I had, watches, any of that kind of stuff. None of the things I remember have to do with money. They're all the connections I made with people as a child. So I know it's the same with my own children. What do they value? They value me. What are they asking for? They're asking for me. They're asking for time with me. They want connection. I just spent a weekend with my son at a jujitsu seminar. It was the Arnold Classic in Columbus, Ohio. And I still have to make an entire podcast about that weekend because it was one of the best weekends of my life. I planned it to be the best weekend of my life with my son, and it happened. But we spent 2 full days together just connecting and had an amazing time. And as soon as we got back, the next morning, Nathan didn't want it to end. He didn't want this father-son time to end. So that morning he goes to me and says, Dad, as soon as I get home, can we play outside, please? Like, as soon as I get home, can we just play outside? I was like, sure. So I made sure I had all my work done. I woke up early, did my workout, did all my stuff so that when he came home, we could play together. Guilt free. That's the thing. Like, play together guilt free. Not thinking that I didn't do my job as a provider during the day. No, I took care of my business so that when he came home, we could spend time together. And that's what meant everything to him, was just the time that we get to spend together. Once again, Lauren, during this time, asked if she could play on the rope swing with me. That's it. And they both wanted to go to the park. We went to the park, our local park, and I pushed them on a swing. We played freeze tag. Nathan came up with this game that made no sense at all, which they always do. And he said, Dad, can we play Forget the Shine? I was like, what the hell does that mean, man? Forget the Shine? I said, what does that mean? Let's play Forget the Shine. And they blow my mind with these things. Like, they ask me impossible questions, questions that make no sense at all. They mix up the words like why, what, when, how, whatever those words are called. I know there's an English definition for them, for that category of word. They mix them up. They'll be like, Dad, why blue? And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? You need more context. When, like John Donaher, we were at the seminar, they did a Q&A afterwards. Some guy raised his hand. He asked an extremely generic question, and John said, you need to give me more context. That's too vague of a question. I was like, thank you, John. So my kids, anyway, we were at the park, and Nathan says, Dad, let's play Forget the Shine. So I was like, what the hell does that mean? Please explain that. I didn't say hell, but I had him explain the game. Then we played, kind of basically just tag. It's a new spin on tag. So we played that and had a great time just at the park, relaxing together. And we connected, we bonded. That's what they wanted to do. They didn't want to do anything else. So to circle back to the why that's important is because if I am wishing for a different past life, I'm basically wishing the memories I have with my kids away. I'm wishing that the memories in life that they hold so dear, I'm wishing that those things didn't happen. And in return, I could replace those with, I don't know, more money, different memories. I'm saying I wish that those memories didn't happen and these different memories could replace those and did happen. And that's a very selfish thought. And this is an important realization for me to have. It's, you will, first off, we're doing fine financially. Okay. And if I said, well, in the past, I wish I would have done better financially, I'm saying to my kids, that life you lived back then, I'm not valuing it very much because we didn't have enough money back then. And that's a very selfish thing to think. I don't want to think that, but the thought came to me nonetheless. But I put a pin in it and I wanted to talk about it. I had to talk these thoughts through so that I could learn this lesson once and for all. It's about envy. It's about jealousy. It's about comparing yourself to people. It's about being on your own journey. And I'm still going to journal about it. I'm still going to talk about it. We have our brotherhood call tonight. I'm going to talk about it tonight and continue to flesh it out and hear what the other guys have to say about the topic. And they can compare and run their own stories through this lens. But this was really important for me to get out there for all of you and for me. When I do these podcasts and I make content, I say you sometimes, but the you is me. And I truly believe that we are most qualified to help the person we once were. And when I make content, I'm talking to myself. I'm trying to teach myself, whether it's the person I am now or it's the person I used to be. But as I learn new things, I need to teach my past self them because I know there's people out there who are in the situation that my past self was in. And if they hear what I'm saying now, it could then help them. If I'm trying to teach you something that I've never experienced before, then what use am I? What value can I bring to you? But if I've been through the same situation that you are in now and I've gotten out of it and learned some wisdom, then maybe I can pass that on to you. So that's what I do with these podcasts. So to make it clear, the lesson that I want to learn today is that if I wish for a different past life, if I wish that things were different in the past, that means that I am stealing the experiences and lives away from my children that experience them or my wife that experienced them. I am saying that the life that we had together isn't as important to me as it is to you. I'm saying that I want to replace those moments with something that didn't happen. So that's the importance, and that is the gravity and the selfishness of that thought of I wish things were different in the past. So this was an important realization for me, and I promise I'll share more of these as I get them. But that's the podcast for today. Just me thinking this thought out loud. Literally had the thought, was in the middle of posting another podcast, and I said, I need to get this out there on record. So for me, then maybe, hopefully, you guys can learn from it too. But that's all I got for you today, guys. Solo one. Reach out to me anytime. Instagram's the best place. I never check my email. So reach out to me on Instagram. My men's program's exploding. You can always join us and get coached up. I also do one-on-one coaching with guys now. It's a whole different level of accountability and instruction. But reach out to me about anything, guys, even if you just want to talk and, talk about fatherhood, being a husband, man, things that are holding you down, whatever. Talk to you guys soon.